Thank you so much for joining us. It's a beautiful Wednesday afternoon, and it is Share Your Brand Experience on ConsumerHallaTV. It's about storytelling. It's about we having your narration, your experience about a brand industry. Thank you so much for joining us. I am Ire Ayomikunle Eke.
All right, thank you so much for joining us once again on Share Your Brand Experience this evening on ConsumerHallaTV. I'm Kike Lomo Ajibola. You know how we do it, like I said, like we always say. Please follow us across all our social media platforms, Instagram, Facebook, X, TikTok, and on YouTube. Especially subscription is very, very free for you to always watch us every weekdays from the hour of 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. This is another beautiful edition of Share Your Brand Experience, and we are here to talk about another exciting topic. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Kike. I was just about turning to you because what we're about to talk, what we're having on the table that we're about to dissect, we've had this conversation quite a lot of time, but now with the situation of things, it does not look like it is stopping soon. So that is why we still have to talk about it, because we need to create an awareness. We're talking about customer care service, and according to statistics, customer service in Nigeria remains a present issue across sectors such as telecommunications, banking, hospitality, and public services, despite some gains from digital transformation. Many Nigerians still face long wait times, poor complaint handling, and a lack of professionalism. The state of customer care service in Nigeria, a 2023 no-poll survey showed that 61% of Nigerians are dissatisfied with the customer care service due to poor communication, lack of empathy, and slow complaint resolution were top issues. The telecommunication and power sectors performed worst, with PHCN, Airtel frequently, and MTN most times cited for inefficiencies. And for real life experience sharing and for more insight on how to get statistic right about customer care service, we have Adela G, who is an healthcare provider and also a seasoned on-air personality, OAP, join us virtually on the program all the way from Ibadan for more awareness. Adela, good evening. Thank you so much for joining us on the conversation.
Yeah, good afternoon. I'm honored to be here.
All
Can
right.
you hear me?
Thank you so much. Yeah, of course, I can hear you well. Thank you so much for joining us.
Okay. All right, the pleasure is mine.
And how is Ibadan doing this evening?
Oh, well, for the sun, it's really, really hot.
All right. Ṣé láfíà lẹ wà ń bẹ̀ wọn?
Alafia Lawal.
All right then, Olúwa ṣeun.
I don't think she's from Ibadan, actually, because that doesn't sound like someone else from
She's not
Ibadan.
for you, absolutely.
Yeah.
Oh!
And now, all right, let's get into the insights, the conversation. Can you please share your real life experience, because it's needed, the one you've had about poor customer care issues in brief?
All right. Okay, so basically, I'm someone that loves explaining things in details. So I would start. It's happened to be a night time. So we were going out to get a hailer for my mom. On the way, you know, this rough guys, they snatched our phone and we rushed to the bank. It was late already, so we rushed to the bank to inform the security and also call the customer care service, informing them to block the account, to lock the account, so they would be able to find something funny to do and all that. And which they said they'll be on it, they will do it and stuff like that. Only for us to get back home, and in the middle of the night, around 12 a.m., 1 a.m., we started receiving debit alerts. We're not wondering, as we called these people and informed them already and told them about the situation of things on ground, and they told us they would do something about it. So how come they did? Was it like they didn't do anything about it, or what really happened? So it was really, really a devastating moment. You know, moms are smart. We're trying to get our medication, and also in the process of that, there was a loss, not a loss, like huge loss. So it was really, really funny and disheartening. Actually, it was really, really disheartening. So basically, that's one example, like one life experience that I can never forget. Hello.
Oh, we are so sorry about that. There was a little bit of a glitch with the network. Sorry, I didn't catch the last thing you said.
Oh.
Maybe you should start from where you said you started receiving the debit alert in the middle of the night.
Oh, right. Okay, so we started receiving debit alerts, debit upon debits, and it was really, really disheartening because we began to wonder. We informed them already about the situation of things on ground. So, how come? Was it that they didn't carry out any action or they just
Yeah.
left it? It was really a disheartening situation for real because, having an asthmatic patient, if you have an asthmatic patient, you would understand how that thing would be. It's just like a whole huge loss, and for in a nutshell it was highly disheartening.
Honestly, you don't need to have an asthmatic patient to understand the pain and the emotional attachment or stress that people who have them in the
Yeah.
corner go through. Because one way or the other, we all know what asthma is, and it is a very, very chronic and demanding disease or illness that some human beings do
Illness,
go through.
yeah.
But I would like to ask you, what were you able to do after the
Okay.
money was taken out of your account? Were you able to do anything? Was the bank able to do something?
Well, unfortunately, it was a weekend, so the following Monday we had to go to the bank and we laid a complaint, and they said they couldn't really do anything regarding that because the person who stole the phone bought airtime on our own number. You understand? So the debit was to our own number. So there was really nothing they could do because it wasn't traceable and stuff like that. So it was a whole loss. And another one I
Oh,
could
so the person
remember
did.
was one time I made. Yeah,
No,
sorry, you're
continue,
saying
continue. Don't
something.
worry. I would ask you the question later.
Okay.
Continue what you're talking about.
All right. Yeah. So another one I could remember was when I did an erroneous transfer of 42,000 naira. A students like me. Very funny. So I reached out to I firstly called my bank manager and he gave me the procedure on what to do, which I followed. Then they had to tell me that I have to get affidavits, do this, do that. I'm the one that made this erroneous transfer. I'm telling you what that happened to me. You're telling me to get affidavits, get this, get that before you could help me. Yes, the stress was just too much. I just like let it be because trust me. And then work was demanded. School work was highly demanded. So there was no time for me to go to the high court to get an affidavit done and all that. So basically, the two most disheartening experience I've had with customer cares are with banks.
Wow. Honestly, I'm not even surprised that you said the two most horrific one you've had are with banks, because I think now their name is almost on the lips of every Nigerian, which is a very, very bad thing, a very bad reputation to have. So I wanted to go back to the first instance that you made mention of. First of all, I'm very, very sorry about the
Apologies about
experiences
that.
that you went through. It's not nobody's fault, honestly, but it's just, I think it's
Yeah.
normal for
Yeah,
Nigerians to always
fine.
say sorry, or whether you're wrong or you're
Yeah,
right. Sorry is our anthem right now. So you said the person didn't just remove the money as in like
definitely.
she
Yeah.
was buying the person, okay, he or she was buying card into their own
Mm,
on their SIM. Was that it?
yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So why
No,
can't they
into our
why
own sin.
yeah,
Like
why can't they
our
not shoot?
number.
Oh, into your own number. That is very smart. I give it
That's
to that to that.
Yes,
that's
exactly.
dubious. You can say that
Oh, I
again.
just got it now. So it was the person was
Very.
buying card into your own SIM
Yeah,
card.
you can understand the point. Yeah, so the first.
Oh my god.
Mm-hmm.
This is the first time I'm hearing
Yeah.
this, honestly. Like I always say sometimes that Nigerians, we are full of knowledge, but most of the time we use our knowledge for illegal things. I've never in my life will I think of somebody stealing your phone, then using your own money to buy airtime into your own SIM card. Because one way or the other, they're going to make money. They're going to sell that card from that particular.
That was the first I would say as well.
Wow, that is.
You can
I'm sorry, the
imagine.
person that stole your phone. This is not the first time they are stealing phones.
He's a professional.
Very, very big professional thief. Because oh my
Yeah.
god, you.
All right. Now, we apologize for your experience and thank you so much for sharing that with us. And that will definitely create another awareness for people
Yeah,
watching
honestly.
the program. Absolutely. Now, what are the root cause of poor customer care services in Nigeria?
I would say number one, empathy. Then number two, priorities. Then number three, workload. I mean, I've been to banks. I'll start from number three. I've been to my own bank. I use Fidelity, and sometimes I would see the customer care section filled up. Even when I go to Zenith, I see the same thing there, filled up, and there's this each queue. People waiting for their turn and all
Yeah,
that, and we are
sitting.
just seeing just two customer care service. It's sitting
Always
two
just
for
to,
the
I don't
number
know
of
why.
people on the queue. You get, so the workload on these people is way too much than um what they have on ground, way too much than the staffs. You get, the workload is more than the staffs. Are you there?
We can hear you, please.
All right. Thank you so much for that insight. Now, having said the root cause, can you share with us the solution that you think can end poor customer care services in Nigeria? Because, stylishly, knowingly or unknowingly, it has become cankerworm and has eaten deep into the customer services system in Nigeria.
Okay, so we all know that the world is fast evolving. So I'll feel if they can implement technology more and AI, the use of AI. Using MCOPA, I don't know if you've heard about MCOPA.
No.
MCOPA uses chatbots. Okay, right?
Okay.
They use
That makes
chatbots.
sense.
You understand? So if you send in a text, or maybe you want to make an inquiry, or you have a complaint or something like that, there's this. It answers you immediately. It gets what you want to do done immediately. That's the work of the chatbot. You understand? So if more banks or other organizations out there can implement that as well. Then also feedbacks. They should value feedbacks. And they can,
Thank you.
there's this in the call review on Google. Yeah, take for instance
Yeah,
this
Google
review they do on
reviews.
Google Play
Yeah.
Store and all that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Here you get, if they can do something like that, they'll be able to know, because humans, especially Nigerians, we want to lay our pains, like we want you to know what we are going through. You understand? So if they can create that kind of platform for people to
Yeah.
pull down their concerns, then it will help them know what to do better. It will help them know what
Yeah.
to do better. And also getting enough staffs. And it's not compulsory the staffs
I wanted to say that actually.
are on ground.
They
It's
can
not
work from
compulsory they
home,
are on
hybrid.
ground. Yeah, you get that. It might be hybrid and it can be 100% remote. Just they do it. People at Ghana, I have a friend that does something like that at Ghana. So if it can be remote, you might be, since you have a laptop, you can just employ people so they
Exactly.
get this thing done. But I feel, since it's remote, I feel maybe they might be thinking about the pay, how to pay staffs and all that. But there are ways you can run
I
the
think that's actually the
organization
most
and it will
easiest
go
part of it.
smoothly.
As if you have hybrid staff,
Staff.
that's one of the most easiest way to pay people
Yeah,
because you're not paying for transportation, you're not paying for a lot of things. So
Just being
it's
there for
even
that.
you get the
easier for you to
point.
pay
For the
hybrid than a
service.
physical staff. And so let's backtrack a little bit because I wanted to ask you some questions, but in
All
this
right.
question that you just
Okay.
answered, she answered a little bit of
All
it. For
right.
me, I think particularly empathy is the biggest problem that we have in customer service in Nigeria because it's not just the
Yeah. Yeah.
manufacturer now. The manufacturers sometimes they even train these staffs. They try they because I know that what I've heard is that customer service providers don't just get the job; they undergo at least a 3-month training before they are put like in
Yeah.
front of the desk. So I feel like manufacturers have tried their best. Maybe they're not doing a follow-up enough, but I think it is more of an
Exactly.
empathy situation because how can I be calling you that I have an urgent matter for you to solve for me, and the next thing you are telling me is what is your mother's maiden name, what is your father's, unnecessary.
What year did you
You
get
can
this?
what did I
Unnecessary.
get the sim?
Oh,
A sim that I've been using
Unnecessary things.
for more than 12 years. How am I supposed to remember when I got that particular sim? So these are issues that we
You
need
you
to deal with
understand?
the staffs themselves. Thank you very much. And also the fact that the workload, like you said, honestly, it is too much. Most banks always have just 2 customer service on ground. You will see 20.
On seats.
Do you not know what is funny is that it's only in customer service that you will see chairs lined up in front of the people, because they know that you're going to wait a long time. If so you want to document things a little bit, don't give me a full, sheet of paper for me to start filling whatever I don't even understand.
Exactly.
An exam.
You get
so
it.
It's more of an empathy, because it's very, very sad, and it can be personal, because I have gone through customer service issues, and I'm very sure
almost everybody has gone through
customer service issue.
Then another thing, I want to say something. Another thing that I feel they should scrap up at this moment is giving forms, because basically you have my information on your system. So why are you stressing me to go all over again? Wow. You can just ask for my name and probably my phone number or something, then bring it out. Like hospitals does that nowadays. The hospital I once worked at, all you just need to do is just input the patient's name, then the rack where the patient's card is. Life has
by their card number. In fact, some of them even do foolscap sheets for you to start writing jam questions and the likes.
I thank you so much, Adela Aji, for your beautiful insight. And with everything you've said, you've nailed it, starting from the root cause and to the solutions. I think it's time the banks and all other service providers now start to know that this is 2025, not 2005 again. We are in the Gen Z world, not in the analog world. The issue of you asking me formed, it's tiring, and
very tiring.
You start to crack your brain about what you registered with them for almost like 10 years ago. I mean, what I was thinking 10 years ago, age business with you, is different from what I'm thinking now. So thank you so much for bringing all those beautiful insights. And I think with the workload, of course, it's so tiring on them. You can see them; they get tired easily. Most of them will tell you, "We are coming." Maybe they'll go to restroom or go somewhere to
even physically in bank.
Exactly.
They will leave customers stand and walk majestically out of the customer's presence. That's your job. You should have a fixed time. Yeah, you can have pressing. You are pressed. You want to go and use the toilet. You can always have a time. They don't even offer an apology. Oh, sorry, excuse me for just 2 minutes. Let me go and quickly use the restroom. It's as if they're entitled to using that restroom at a particular time in the presence of their own customers. And like you said earlier on about the there's no courtesy about the chatbots. Some banks actually have
Access.
I'm not surprised that Fidelity is having this particular customer, because I don't think they have a lot of customers compared to some banks. Like for them to now.
Well, actually, I would say basically, I could go through all those process. Probably they would have done something, but due to my own work schedule, I could not go. But I heard that it's not only for Fidelity. It's not only for Fidelity.
It's all of them. I'm just saying that they could have prioritized you, because I don't think Fidelity has that much customers compared to some other banks. And honestly, all those unnecessary, go to this place, bring your NIN, bring your affidavit. What do I need an affidavit for? Am I changing something in my bank? I don't know. I just feel like some of the time they just need to buy time for themselves. All these things are absolutely not necessary, and I think government needs to regulate these rules, particularly for consumers that are actually using these things, because it's very tiring for me to lose money, and then it's taking me 6 months to collect this money back.
Thank you so much, Adela G. And I support you. I support you 100,000,000 times about the government need to do a whole lot of reform and regulation. And now, if you are talking about the government, I think it's right time. There is an English adage that says charity begins at home. We find of course, if you ask me, I know that one of the main reasons why empathy is lost is because we are humans, and we know the way we are always desperate when we get a job. And now maybe they've gotten the job.
They are relaxed.
They feel like they are on top of the world, at their comfort zone, and they start mistreating people. So definitely, if anybody would talk, if consumers would talk about a particular, they will not call the name of the staff. They will not call Irayomi Kole. They will not call Kike. They will call this bank. This.
So thank you very much.
So I think it's high time for the top officials of the bank to always, the manufacturers, maybe the top executives of these banks, of these service providers, to know to call a round table meeting, to just a meeting, an awareness that will start as a subtle reminder of the reason why we
they
employ
were
you
employed.
in the first instance. And thank you so much for those beautiful insights. I think with all these things, if
Yes.
things are properly done, because we have a lot of people that say this is Nigeria, anything goes, but we will never stop doing that because we are
Exactly.
media
For
and we'll keep creating
real.
awareness until they do the good and right thing. Thank you so much, Adela G, for joining us
Definitely.
on the conversation all the way from
The
Ibadan,
pleasure is mine.
health care
The pleasure is
provider
mine.
and a seasoned on-air personality. Such a beautiful one, such an amazing analysis. We appreciate you.
Thank you. The pleasure is mine. I'm glad to be here.
Before you go, all right, before you go, for 1 minute, let's have your concluding remark.
Okay, so basically, I would say we all know how Nigeria is, and if the customer care wants to be better, it starts from the personality itself. So you should always remember that as a customer care provider, um, the top of your list as a customer care provider, your number one priority is the people, is the
Exactly.
customers. Sure, you understand? So you have to know that to get them comfortable, you have to be out there to do everything to get their needs met. Truly,
Thank
some
you.
customers will be so frustrating. Yeah, they might be
Very,
frustrating
they
at
can
times, but
actually.
it's just, yeah, that's where this stress management comes in, anger management comes
Professionalism
in. So
comes
you just
in. Exactly.
professionalism comes in. Sure, you get. So you just have to know that you have to be calm no matter what. You have to be calm. You have to mind your speech and do everything you can in your power to meet with their needs.
Thank you very
Thank you
much.
so much, Adela G. I'm highly impressed. Thank you so much for joining us on the conversation once again. Please do well to enjoy
Yeah.
yourself and say me bye to the people of Ibadan.
Oh my God.
All right, so Odabo.
Yeah, what about?
All right, thank you so much for joining us. That's a very insightful conversation. It was brief, short, and concise. It has all the
Information
information
needed.
needed in it. But I think the one that is quite amazing to you is about the issue she had whereby
Yeah,
using how to buy
that's
ATM.
very smart.
You know, Ibadan don't pay it's called
Like,
it is Ibadan. So don't be surprised. You know, there is an adage in Ibadan that when you steal something, or steal something from you, Ibadan people will tell you, why did you put it in the
yeah,
place
why did
where
you
the thief came
exactly?
to? You know, I jacked that stuff from you. One man ní ọmọ Ìbàdàn tí ó jalè ojú ló rọ pé
It's
ìwọ náà
just
ṣe gbé
shy.
ìwọ náà ṣe gbé níbi tí ò lè máa ti gbé. So please let us all stay very careful, a very beautiful insight right there. And I'm sure if all these things are properly done,
Things
there will
will
be
be better.
changes. Definitely, of course, there will be changes. All right, we need to bring everything to an end on Share Your Brand Experience. I enjoyed myself, and I know Kike too
did,
enjoyed
actually.
herself on the conversation. We'll be back again next week, Wednesday, for another insight. Kike, we would not get tired if it's to keep calling people from top for them to share their experience, and you know, this reaching out to the audience, right, reaching out to the right authorities, and you know, creating a very high level and range of awareness. That is when they will stop. Definitely we'll keep doing what we know how to do best till they get their awareness and get the message we are passing across to them for the betterment of Nigeria.
Yeah.
We will stop. Thank you so much for joining us. I am Ire Ayomikunle, aka. We'll see you next week by the special grace of God. Do well to follow us on all our social media platforms. We love you. Enjoy the rest of your evening. Hello and welcome to another edition of Mind the Gap. This is a weekly broadcast program on ConsumerHallaTV that helps draw attention to everyday avoidable gaps in customer service delivery with the overall aim of strengthening existing relationships between brands and their consumers. I am Iremufe Kofoworola. On this edition of the program, we will be discussing how brands can build strong relationships among employees.
We all understand that clear communication, trust, and transparency are key elements that foster relationship between brands and their employees. An organization that wants to thrive must look beyond the transactional employer-employee relationship to a more sustainable relationship among employees. My guest today is Samson Adebayo, a human resource manager. I beg your pardon there. Welcome on the show.
Yeah, thank you, Mofe, for having me here.
Yeah, it's so good to see you today.
Yeah, same here.
Yeah.
In a way.
So let's look at it in holistic view. We are discussing how brands can build very strong relationship between their among their employees rather. What are some of the obvious gaps that exist between brands and their employees?
Okay, so when we are talking about brands, so brands in the sense like employers.
Yeah.
So because if I'm speaking in the HR perspective, it's going to be more of an employer and the employee.
Yeah.
So what are the obvious gaps that exist is communication. So the moment you can't have an open communication with your employees, the moment all promises that you've promised, okay, we will do this, we do that, are not achieved or being met, it's the gap that comes in because you have a disgruntled staff or employee that is not fulfilled at where he is. So those are the gaps that happen between the brands and the employees.
All right. Oh, so in a nutshell, you are trying to point out that communication is a major gap that exists between brands and their employees, which obviously would like build a kind of wall between the brands and the employees.
Exactly.
Okay, now let's look at it. Looking at how to build strong relationship now. How or what does it mean then? Now you've highlighted that communication could be a gap. Then what does it mean for a brand to have very strong relationship between the brand and the employees?
Okay, so for brands to have strong relationship with the employees, it's giving an open door policy whereby people feel free to see what is not working, and they feel free to come and say, okay, HR or whoever it is, okay, this is what my concern and I need to speak regarding these, and those things are being met, and it's not something that is going to haunt them in the future or in few months time, or even in payday or appraisal issues. Okay, your boss is not doing something right, you can easily talk to your boss like, oh sir, what you did was not right, I really do not matter. And one thing about it again is the mode of communication, the way you
the communication
make
channel.
your complaints, the way you make your complaints also politely, because some people, there are some ways you can make your complaint and it's still not polite. So I feel like when you are politeful, when you're making all these complaints, so the person can also reason like, okay, I think this person is right. But the moment that breach is gone, like I can't communicate with you, you can't even resonate with what I'm saying, you just feel like, oh, I'm the boss, boss is always boss, you can't tone down whatever my decision is. So those are the things that would not make them thrive.
Interesting. And I know that many brands, they fall short of this when it comes to communication and having that opening door policy. Yeah, because communication is very germane, it's very important when it comes to brands.
Sure.
And sometimes when a brand does not properly communicate the culture and values of their organization to their employees, that creates a gap between them. Now let's still talk about communication.
Okay.
Now, because you know that communication is very important. It's a two-way thing. There has to be feedback and there has to be response to that as well. And looking at the internal publics, like the employees, because they have very crucial role to play in how a brand can become popular or how they can be well received. Now, what are the right communication channels that a brand can build to reach out to their employees?
Okay, so a right communication channel which brands can use is having like surveys. Okay. So surveys are whereby people you outline things that you feel like, okay, you need to get feedback on these things, and people are able to give you their honest feedback that they know like, okay, this is not going to be judged. So this is not going to be like as if, oh, I'm giving this and I'll be on for it. You're having a non-disclosure survey whereby nobody is recording anybody's name or anybody's staff number or anybody's thing. So after doing all those things, they feel secured and they feel safe, like, yes, I can express myself. We've seen institution or companies that says like, okay, you have any issues, just send an email and it should be treated. So there's always the platform for all these complaints to be laid. There are some that they have a suggestion box wherever it is, so you're not even putting your name there, anonymous. So you put down your suggestion, you write it down and go and drop in that box, and which the moment the company starts seeing those things and they affect it. Now it's different from, so there are some reason why people find it very difficult to make that complaint, because when they do that complaint, now the manager is not like, hey, you went to complain about me, Abi, I'm going to treat you up, I'm going to push you out of this company. So people are like, whatever the line manager is doing, let him just continue doing it, in as much as it's not affecting my daily. And we all know the situation of getting a job in Nigeria or in any part of the world. So all these things limit people not to give out this feedbacks. So I know communication is a two-way thing. It starts from the person saying it and how it gets to the receiver, and the receiver is getting the full context of what they are saying. But there are some people, the moment they are even reading some complaints, it's like, oh, just drop it down. So all those things are not even being met for the employees to feel like, okay, we are safe to give complaint. So communication in every institution is very compulsory. Likewise, the trust for that communication will be treated like, okay, if I'm laying my complaint, will it be treated? It's not like I'm just, companies do it like, okay, everybody do your surveys, and it's just like, let's just act as if we care. But yet they still do not care about whatever you are saying. They just want to get out your complaint, get all this feedback, and just don't be like, okay, we've heard you, but we're not doing anything about it.
So what's the point of being heard?
So exactly.
What's the point you know lodging your complaint?
So that's why you see most people would not even try again to just like, we know, like, even though we lay my complaint, it's still not going to be treated. So let it just be like that.
So at one point then, does a relationship become sustainable and strong in an organization?
So a relationship gets sustained the moment employees feel they are they have that trust. Like, okay, this company is for everybody. The moment everybody gets to know, like, whatever happens in your department affects the whole body in the system. When they get to like, okay, whatever I'm doing is also what the other person is doing, and when I make my complaint, everybody is resonating with that, and they are all in hands together to solve this complaint. So at that moment, everybody feel like, yes, our complaints are being heard, and people will not sit down to let things go south before they take actions. They immediately go and lay those complaints. Make those complaints to see like, okay, this thing is working out. And when they see correction, they even try to correct before even making the complaint. And there are ways that people can make complaints, because a lot of people go fast beyond their shadows. They feel like, okay, there are reporting channels. Okay, I can lay my complaint to my boss, and my boss take it to the directive. It's something like, I know, like, it's about the brand that might damage the brand or might affect the brand. But there are some people that will feel like, oh, my boss is not there, let me go and meet the top people, which is, you are already shooting the shots above your line manager that are supposed to have effect that change. So they do not care about your image. They just want to like, quickly let me go and escalate things faster. Meanwhile, there's a channel whereby you need to follow those channels. From you report to whoever is supervising you, then from that one it takes it to the board. What you might think is not fine might be fine in its own space, and just a way of getting feedbacks. So for everything in sustaining your brand is communication. We can't take that out of it.
Interesting. So for anyone to sustain their brand, so they just have to communicate effectively.
Exactly.
And communication builds trust and at the same time transparency.
Exactly.
Now let's talk about transparency in an organization, because there's no way there's going to be that strong relationship between the brand and their employees without transparency. So what role does being transparent play in building trust and sustainable relationship?
What role does transparency build?
you know, when it comes to sustainable relationship now between brands and their employees?
Okay, so to that I will talk about it built trust in the fact like everybody know what's going on in the organization.
Yeah.
Nobody is left behind. It built that transparency is in the form of so every week there's a newsletter to tell everybody in the organization like, okay, this is what we met last week, this is one of our core, this is what we've achieved last week, these are the best people doing this, these are the good I had, or something like that in different departments. So people feel like, okay, my work is being seen, I'm being appreciated for what I'm doing, and I'm not left behind. So if company just acquire a boss today, I'm in the know. It's not about, okay, it's just management that knows all these things. If we've secured a grant or a loan or what is it called, a scholar deal or something like that, we are in the know. We are all carried along to know the progress of the company. If the company is also falling down, we are in the know. We're also getting carried along because we are all the company. So at that moment, they feel like, that's why you see people start even trying to do their best, because they know like, oh, the company is coming down, there's no money in the company, okay, let's try our best. But if it says like, okay, you are not transparent enough to show them like, we are not making progress, or we are not even making any sales, and at that part you want to feel like, let's hide this information, people will just sit down, relax, and feel like we're not carried along, until when there's not like, oh, we need to take out some people from the system and be like, we are making sales now, we are making money now, we just acquired this and something like that. So all these things affect people because there's no transparency for them to know what's the issue going on in the business. So when brands put in their employees, make them also like a co-partnership or co-owner of the business, these are like, it gives them that responsibility to own it and feel like, okay, whatever I'm doing is for the betterment of this business, and I know like it will be seen and it will be shown forth. So everybody is up to their toes, working and ensuring like this business is stand.
Interesting one. I mean, that's been insightful. And I was going to ask you something at the later end, but I think it's better for me to ask now, because you mentioned the fact that employees should be carried along. And I was going to like ask that, okay, how effective would it be to like involve them in decision making or decision policies of the organization? Because fine, there's room for transparency, and sometimes some organizations, to the best of their knowledge, they believe that there are some pieces of information you should not let your staff know. Now, involving them is very good, because they know that, okay, they are even respected enough to know their opinions are being sought. Now, how then does it really help them, to build that strong relationship in policy or decision making?
Okay, so when it comes to decision making, still go back to communication and still go back to like service. You really can't. Number one thing you need to respect is the labor law. So the moment you are making any decision, you need to consider the labor law. Then the next part of it is also to consider who are your employees. Okay, before any law is being communicated out, even HRs, we need to consider the employees. They may try to even push out a survey to say, okay, let's see how people will take this, we embrace this new development. But like I always say this thing, I say it is we human that cause a lot of things that happen to us. Because the moment we are given just a little opportunity, we want the whole thing. The moment you are given the opportunity, like, okay, your decision is being made. And I tell people, I said there are two ways of things in life. You can speak, you can share your opinions, and it is well accepted. And there are some days you share your opinion and they feel like, okay, we will see how we will do it, but at this moment is not what we want. So people feel like, I've always been sharing opinions, and they always like, why are they not taking this? So decision making takes a whole lot of things to consider. You are not in the shoes of the co-founder or the CEO. You don't know what he is planning to achieve, and that's why also the mission and vision of every company must be communicated to everybody that is coming on board. So at that period, everybody is focused to like, okay, we know where we are going to. So when it comes to decision making and you are giving them the clues, you've already pushed out a survey to know how would they embrace this thing. Even though you are going to bring it up, or bring it on, it's going to be gradual. You don't just impose on them and like, I own the company, you have to do this thing. It's just gradual process, and you say like, okay, let's look at the review after 3 months or 2 months, and let's see how it is being done. I remember, we all remembered COVID. When COVID came in, companies were like, okay, how are we going to sustain? Some were still doing on-site. At the moment, like they said, okay, it's not sustainable. Okay, let's go back to hybrid. And at the moment, people feel like, okay, it's not okay, let's go back to remote. And after remote, after COVID, what happens? Some companies still remain being remote workers. Why some have said, okay, everybody will come back to work. We are going back to the way where normal life has started. And you see some companies like, okay, we can't remove that part of working from the office. Okay, let's try to bridge in between, making it more flexible. Okay, go ahead and let's say you are working hybrid, you are working remote. Sometimes you come to the office, sometimes you don't come to the office, which everybody will embrace. So the moment that comes in, I think COVID changed a whole lot of things. Even in decision making, you still need to consider like there are companies that their staff still feel disgruntled as at right now. Like some companies are doing hybrid or remote. Some of their colleagues or mates are doing hybrid or remote, and yet they are all Monday to Fridays at the office, which is something that still make them. So if you have run a survey and say like, okay, would you like this, would you like that, it's also part of the decision, but it is we people that will also misuse that opportunity given to us. So that's why businesses feel like, okay, it's not everything we need to still push out to everybody. We make the decision when it comes to maybe other thing that is exclusive of employees. If it's something about growth of the business, we can't really wait to put these people to be transparent enough. You can't also be, even as a woman, we don't get transparent to everybody. Even as a wife, you don't get transparent. There are some things you still reserve for yourself to be done, and you share the one you want to share out.
Interesting one. No, I quite understand that, and people who are employees who are watching will definitely know that, okay, sometimes it's not as if even the company does not want to hear you, but they're not being transparent enough, but there are some decisions or policies they just have to, kind of reserve or keep away from you at the moment. But I said something that was striking the other time when we were talking about trust and care, and sometimes, it's not as if these organizations, they really care. Sometimes even when you give feedback and you have your personal issues you are going through and it's affecting how you work, your productivity and all of those things, and you're trying to let your boss or your supervisor get to know that, okay, these are the issues I'm going through and all that. So how can you be motivated? So what impact does motivation have, or what role does it play in building very strong relationship between brands and their employees?
Okay, so we're talking about what motivates the employees.
Yeah.
How does
motivation? What impact does motivation have? Because sometimes you are going through some issues. It's not saying you are not good at your job, but you believe that, okay, the company can trust you enough. They truly care about you. Now, sometimes you just need some forms of motivation to like get back on your toes, to become who you used to be. You delivering your best. So what impact does motivation have in building that strong relationship between brands and their employees?
Okay, so one thing we should also know is not about the co-founders or the companies. Sometimes it sits with the line managers, because the CEO or the MD or wherever might not be at every situations or every department. So it depends on the line managers, like I said. So I'll share an example of mine. So there was a company I worked with then, and I had issues with accommodation. I need to move out of my previous place to get accommodation. And besides, I was working I think I go on site like 3 to 4 times in a month. So at that period, I was looking for apartments sometimes, and we all know how agents in Nigeria are like, and they will tell me like, oh, come at this time, and I feel like, okay, you people will say you are looking for working class, and you're telling me to come at this time to come and check an apartment. So it's kind of very crazy, kind of like that, to feel like I will leave my work and come and look for apartment, but yes, I need it. So there was this day we were having a meeting, and I think it was an on-site day that day, and I told my colleague like, come on, I'm looking for an apartment, and it's very difficult for me to even find one. Sometimes when they tell me like, oh, there's an apartment, and before I say I'm going there, they said the apartment is gone. So not knowing, just because of the kind of relationship we had, she had to go and tell my line manager. We both work on that same line manager. She had to tell her like, okay, I feel like Samson is looking for an apartment and it's getting very difficult to get an apartment and the likes like that. And the next thing I would see is I was locked out of my application to work. Seriously? And my and the law, the rules for applying for leave state like you must apply your leave 10 days before you are going for your leave. And because my supervisor has a veto power, she applied for my leave backend. Wow. That's why my system was locked for me not to work. Because the moment you're on leave, your system gets locked. You won't be able to work. So she applied and just called me like, Samson, I got feedback like you're looking for apartments. Sorry, just take your time and go and look for your apartment. Wow. And she sent me an agent's number inclusive. It's like, okay, you can reach out to this agent to see. So imagine that kind of person. Would you want to leave? No. So this is not about even the company. Yeah. The company did not like this was going behind. But she was making it look as if, yes, you are working with me. So for you to work very fine, I need to get you that comfortability exactly to go and look for your apartment. And when that is sorted, you will get back to your work. And it took me like maybe 3 days. I was like, what the heck? Who does this? I was telling my friend, I was like, 2 years, I never come out for this place because I feel comfortable. I feel like, yes, I don't want to use the word family, but I feel like everybody has the back to back you up when you have issues. Everybody is a team. You can share your what's going on through what you're going through with someone and they feel concerned about you. So it's not about you just going on that journey alone. There are some issues whereby people feel stressed at work. They don't want to go on the journey alone. They need someone to hold their hand and to go along with. But you will see some people who say like, okay, we are paying you for this salary, you have to work for it. So
that way it becomes transactional. It's just about the money, nothing.
So you feel like, okay, you are being paid for this thing, you must get this thing sorted out. I don't care about your apartment. You can fix your apartment sorting or searching for over the weekend. So all these things are motivational apart from your salary, because money is the motivation of everybody working. Yes. So when you have those kind of opportunity whereby a place where you can cry and go and meet somebody, or maybe your line manager, and tell him like, oh, I have issues, I can't read, I can't do this, I can't do that, and understands you and like, okay, this is what's advised to you. Understand, you're not the one that was like, okay, go and do your work, I need this thing set by 8 o'clock, you need to set this thing. All this feel like, oh, nobody even care. If I die, I die. Let me just do what I can do. And you see some people start reducing with the way they give out their best, and they feel like, even though I'm giving my best, does the company even cares? But when you go extra mile for people, they will do better for the company, not even you that give them those chances. They will go extra miles. I've seen where I've gone extra miles. Like anytime they call for anything, I would definitely be available.
Just because the motivation is
exactly there, because you're not stressing me like that. You are still paying my money. Not just the money. I feel like I'm in the midst of people that understands me and that could help me in time of needs and in time when I am down. So situation whereby even I'm not even meeting up my stuff, my guy would have said, are you having difficulty to speak with someone? Let me know. I'll call the person for you now and get it sorted out. Wow. So all those things that were like, I'm not on this journey alone. I have people on the journey with me. I have people I can call and say like, oh, I'm having blockages at this place. Can you help me speak with this person? And immediately they are on it. They're not even like, oh, that's what you are paid for. So motivation comes from when you're in the midst of team members. That's where it starts from. When in the midst of team members, everybody appreciates what you do, everybody understands you, everybody
looks out for you.
Yes. So you feel like, even though the money is not that much, but you feel like I have every other thing in this company. And that's what motivates people. It's not about when the MD is going to come and pay you one big money, or when the MD is going to tell you like, okay, you need to be doing this. Everything is not coming from the MD. Everything is not also coming from the HR department. I tell people this a lot. I said to manage people is not easy. It's not easy, but in the sense like when there's a high rate of turnover in the companies, it doesn't sit with the HR. It sits with the line manager first. Then the lesser percent comes from the HR. But the first thing is HR is giving you someone that they know is best fit to work. Now this person is coming, is a fresh head coming. HR have bamboozled him like, oh, you will get this, you will get that. But this person comes to the organization and it's something else from the line manager's part. So how are you expecting me to retain? Because I'm not the one that sits with this person on a daily basis, and this person might be someone that is even scared to come and tell HR because it seems like, oh, HR will cast me out and say like I'm reporting my boss and all this kind of things. So all these things are things that you need to do that motivates people. So it won't be HR or the freebies that comes in or TGIF. A lot of companies that introduce TGIF like, okay, let's the employees have fun, but it's not all about that. It's all about like, okay,
Even
when I have
little
issues,
things that
when I have issues, can you just let me? There are some people that feel like, okay, oh, you're not doing well. Are you sure you're fine? It's like, I've been thinking about a lot of things. I'm just, okay, can you just take the day off? So the moment you're taking the day, they know like you need to do a refresh or a reset on yourself. And the moment you're getting better, you come back to work and you are being productive. So all these things all these privileges are things that motivate people. I work in an organization, it's even the legal department, legal industry, and like if you are tired of work, you can just take a bed rest for like an hour.
Wow.
And you go and rest and your body is calmed down and you resume back to work. So all these things is not about money, but it gets motivated like, oh, if I'm stressed. But the main issue there is still woman that will still misuse all this opportunity.
Well, thank you for that. I mean, the way you keep saying human, I mean, I understand.
It's human.
Because some people, it gets to a point whereby they don't even know the thin line between, you know, I shouldn't do this, then these are the things I should do.
Yeah.
You understand? They just know that, okay, fine, we are motivated, but even things they shouldn't bring to the office,
They
personal
bring them.
issues, sometimes you should know that there are some things you shouldn't
Exactly.
bring. Then they begin to bring it, you know, into the office space and all that. Now, let's look at it. As individuals, we all have our strength and our weaknesses. So how can organizations then leverage on each individual's strength to ensure that, okay, you know, we are building that sustainable relationship among the employees so that nobody will see anyone as a threat and all that. So how can they recognize individual strengths and weaknesses and use that for the sustainability of the brand?
Individual strength.
Yes.
Okay. So I can remember, was it last week? I watched the video. I've forgotten the woman's name. It's one of the First Bank top leader then. So she said, yes, Ibuka Oshika. So she said something, and that thing recently, we said, when I'm bringing you to my team, I know my strength. So I'm only bringing you for my weaknesses. So the things I can't handle, I'm pushing it to you to sort out for me because I know like those are your own strengths. Exactly. So that's how you manage them. The moment you know, like, okay, you can't, and there's also something else that says like, you might have someone that is performing better in your team, and you don't. I know we still had all this kind of talk within my peers recently. Also, like, okay, when you have someone that is doing well in your team, okay, what do you want to do at that period? Do you want to single-handedly train that person because you feel like, okay, that's the only person that you feel? But you need to carry everybody along, because the moment you put them aside and you focus on one person, now they are not motivated to work. Now this person feels like he's doing too much for what is earning, because every other thing that is coming, you are pushing it to this person. And at the point, like, it's difficult for some employees to feel like, okay, maybe this person wants me to improve better if there's no communication there. Like, oh, this person wants me to improve better, that's why it's pushing all these things to me.
I'm sorry to just keep it. But in the situation by, even if you have outlined that, okay, these are the things I want you to work on, you realize now, okay, these are the things this person seems to like, you know, not doing so well. And the person's, you know, like improving. You know, because there are times like that you still highlight these things and they still don't work on it.
So in those situations, I feel like a manager needs to speak with the person. Okay, what are the things? And that's why organizations have put out the PIP part, which is a performance improvement plan, whereby, okay, we see like, okay, you are lacking behind in all these things. You need to go on this journey. And that's where the line manager had to outline the things like, okay, I feel like this person is having issues with, if it's mental stuff, they need to put you through maybe mental classes or watch some videos, or need you to see a doctor or someone that could help you out. If it's something like, okay, it's based on soft skills or something like that, okay, there are plans of trainings you need to go through so that you can also help yourself. But I tell people, so you don't even wait till those periods before you help yourself. When you know, like, these are the things you do. I do a lot of interviews and I see people say like, okay, I don't know how to do these things. And I feel like it will only take you just one day to learn these things online. We have online stuff that you can use. So it starts within you. If you don't want to be lazy on your own part, if you don't want to be lazy on your part, you go online, look for things you like. Okay, these are the things I use that makes my work very easy, and you get to use it. And like we all say, technology. Technology is here to help you out on all these things. You need an Excel stuff to use on Excel. You can easily put on ChatGPT. Okay, give me the formula for this thing, blah blah blah, and I solve it for you. But people still hold on to like, I don't know how to do it. I don't know how to do it. I don't want to learn how to. And you see, fresh graduates at this age and time, some don't even know how to use MS Word. Don't know how to use Excel. Just the basic part of Excel self. Don't know how to use it. So which is very alarming. Like, okay, what are they teaching you in school? Why are you saying there's no job outside when you can't even do all these things? So when someone is very active, the line managers feel like, okay, I'll push it to this person because I know like he's doing well. But when you also push yourself to like, I want to do it, there's a part of like, I'm ready to be trained. And part of like, well, whatever comes to my table, that's my concern. I'm not careless about whatever that does not sit with me. So if you push this to me, I'll work on it. If you don't push it to me. But when you are hungry for it and feel like, because line managers know each ability, he knows this person can function well in this one, so he knows who to push all these responsibilities to. But the moment you are not
laid back, you are just
available, you're not even available for him, you just feel like, okay, let me use the person that is available, and it gets sorted out.
Wow, interesting. Wow, a lot to unpack, and it has been a very insightful moment here. So this is very, very deep, and I'm quite sure you as viewers, you've learned one or two, but it's very important that we go on a quick break. We will be right back. You are watching Mind the Gap on ConsumerHallaTV. My guest is Samson Adebayo, a human resource manager. And please remember to subscribe to our channel, ConsumerHallaTV, across all our social media platforms. It is very important so that you can get to know more about all our exciting and educative content. We are still talking about how brands can build strong relationships among their employers and employees rather, and we know that that is very crucial, and we've highlighted some points before the break, and you said something that was very striking, and I was talking about communication. And earlier on we also talked about motivation and recognizing individual strengths. Then you also mentioned the fact that trainings could be very important. But now let's talk about trainings, because it is very important.
Sure.
Over the time, we know that there are new technology, there are new tools to apply and all that. So how can trainings and onboarding promote sustainable relationship among employees?
Okay, so for every employers, there's always an opportunity to train anybody coming on board. So at the moment a new employee is coming on board, yes, their experience there, they can do their job, but every organization have their own principles or rules or how they do their things. So during onboarding, you are trying to tell them, okay, this is the mission, so this person knows what the kind of company is coming into and what he needs to focus on. Okay, this is the mission, this is our vision, and this is who we are. So the moment you have those who we are, it helps you to it's a part of like orientation that they are giving you. So you are on learning the previous organization you are coming from, and you are learning the new organization you are coming into. So when you come about training, so training is a way of implementing you to do better at your job. And I tell people, you don't wait for trainings before you train yourself, because trainings is until when there's this gap for you to be trained. But if there's no gap, you think you don't need to be trained. But as at this time around, things are evolving. Your line manager sometimes does not even know what is trending. But you are someone that is very inquisitive for trainings. You have that testiness to like get trained. You are ahead of it. And it's just a way of getting your job done very fast. and it comes to like, oh, how are you getting this done very fast? And that's like, oh, I use this app, or I use this method, or this is what I use. So it's mean like you are ahead of every other person in your department. And training is also a way of making people efficient at their job. You see some trainees that, okay, this person needs to go on this training so he could be more perfect or doing well. Sometimes it's not even about okay, you have some lapses or you are not doing well at your job. They just feel like, just go on this training so to help you. And training is just about pushing you out there to see like, okay, what are the things you need to add more value to yourself, and also get yourself meeting diverse people in different departments or different sections. So training is a way that implements brands to have this consistency of people not even running away, because it's a growth mindset. So if you don't have that growth mindset, you just feel like, let me just be in this position for years back, I really don't care in as much my salary is coming in. But when you are getting trained, it gives an opportunity to like, okay, you can climb a ladder to another department, you can do something else I can't do. It's also a way of like training people to succeed you. Because the moment you are getting trained, you are seeing a lot of things, and I feel like, okay, if I'm no more in this company, this person can definitely do what I can do. Wow. And you are implementing them to also do better for themselves and to do your work very fast. Because if you are not giving them training, you are just leaving them to what they've learned already, they just feel like, oh, that mentality will just be what is in their head, and they will carry that for a long period of time, and it will come to a point whereby you need them to do some science. They'll tell you like, oh, they don't know about it, and or it slows down your own work, and it shows like, oh, you people are not trained enough. So training is very essential to every organization, or to build any brand and employees relationship. It is very necessary. Even people will ask you, and they'll tell like, what's the growth mindset of this company? Is there growth? People will definitely ask you that part. Is there growth? You might tell them like, oh, there's no growth. You want to sit down at the place. They're just like, no, this is not the best place for me.
Wow. Like I said earlier, a lot to unpack. Okay, before we end the show, I would also want to know, is there any leadership, is there any specific leadership style that organizations should, try to inculcate? Because sometimes we've talked about motivation, we've talked about so many things, and there are a lot of leadership style. What works for this person
exactly
might not work for that person. It's that way. And sometimes you don't have to be too strict. Somebody might just need that, cool-headed person to work with, and the way different organization, the way it works. So is there any specific leadership style that, maybe one or two that people can actually, use to, build that? Because it's very important to know that among our employees, they need to have that synergy. They have to have that relationship to work. It's just like bonding. They have to get acquainted with each other, even if they're not friends away from work, but they need to get acquainted, and start from leadership. So if you are trying to create that division among them, then it will not work. But now when you realize, okay, what can I do? Or somebody that's trying to think of, this thing I've been trying to do this, it's not working. Okay, what leadership style should I then inculcate to ensure that among my employees, they have that solid relationship?
Okay, so like you've already said, there is no perfect leadership style, because everybody is good at what they know how to do best. But I would say is paying attention and being free. But I still come back to saying it is human.
I know you definitely, because
it is human, because they misuse opportunities. Give them a small one, they want to like get the whole opportunity. So, but for a leadership style, I feel like would just be able to let them feel free to come to you. Nobody is scared like, if I should say this, would he just send me away? Would he be resentful to me? Would he get angry or start making any kind of attitude towards me? So the moment you give people to even give opinions, maybe you're having sections, okay, give your opinions about this, what do you think about it? You are trying to hear from them. They feel like, oh, so I'm relevant. Okay, I could, before, even when you're having meetings, before you say this, you try to push out, okay, do anybody have any contrary opinions? There are some leaders, that will tell you like, my word is my word. You can't change whatever I'm saying. I'm the lead of this team. nobody knows anything. But when you give them, you also reason with them, because everybody has suggestion. Everybody have ideas. Everybody's coming from different background. Everybody's coming from different kind of community. So when you give them that opportunity to be heard and like say, okay, boss, why don't we do it this way? And the other part of it is the way you are also bringing down your ideas. You are not cutting down people's ideas and say like, okay, this idea is not good for my other reason. Yeah. So you are just sharing your own opinions, and okay, your boss can say, okay, we'll think about it and I'll get back to the whole team. So, and also don't expect like every time you bring ideas, it will be accepted. So leaders should just know how to like manage their team, and they knows what works best for them. But at the same time, still give them hearing say like,
you
okay,
could even reward them sometimes for
you say, okay, exactly, okay, my team, okay, you guys are doing well, okay, can you guys let's have hangouts, let's do this. They feel like, oh, our boss is doing, but same thing, woman.
This human thing.
It's human. For every policy, woman is always have to be involved to even know like how would they feel, and would they take it extra notch, or they would just let it be on the normal thing.
Interesting. Now we'll be talking about employees, brands and their employees. You know, it's very important that they build that sustainable relationship. Now, let's just then look at employees and the customers. Because we can't leave out the fact that customers are kings, they're important, and, you know, everything begins from the internal publics before it gets out to the external publics, the customers and every other person. So, how can brands then ensure that there is that solid relationship between their employees and their customers now?
Okay, so for this part now, we are coming to the sales angle, because sales are the more people that see more of the customers. And I tell people, when you're dealing with sales guys, you need to understand them. The way you treat them is what they bring outside to customers. If you treat your salespeople badly, they will treat you badly too, because sales hold the strength of a company. The moment a sales guy that is performing very well leaves your company, all the customer, because of the loyalty they've built, follows them through. And now let's say Mr. A already have like 76,000 customers in the business. I know like they are the strong people in the business, and tomorrow you're saying like, oh, Mr. A, you are fired. And you expect him to leave those 76. Any company that is coming is going back with all the 76. Because those are his network. Those are the people he can build on. So that part of employees and customer, it's an internal one. The moment you give them satisfaction internally, the moment you reward them internally, the customers will see it, because they are so happy in doing their job. They are so happy to satisfy their customer. They are so happy or eager to attend to the customer's need. So number one thing you need to do for them is giving them that empathy. Let them be heard. So if you are not giving them that listening ears, like, okay, what are the feedback you got back from outside, and let's know how to implement it, they just feel like, well, when they get outside, they just tell the customer, well, is that company, Jare? Well, if you want to patronize us, patronize us. Let me meet my KPI, or let me meet my own sales.
So
but you don't even need to use it. So the concern is not there for them, because they feel like, even though we go back to this report now, we are not going to do anything about the feedbacks we bring. You just feel like you are the one that knows the best thing. Meanwhile, these people are the ones that go outside, that sees what is happening outside, and they're bringing back that feedbacks to you. You need to implement those things.
Implementation is very crucial. It's not
Exactly.
just listening.
It's not just listening.
It doesn't stop there. At the end of the day, you just have to ensure that, okay, everything that has been said, how then do we then implement it?
It's
to
exactly
ensure that it's not just for your growth as a brand, but also for your visibility outside, because people begin to see, oh, this is what this brand stands for.
Exactly.
And, you know, like you said, the sales team, they are the one in between now at this point.
Exactly. They are the middleman.
Yes, so that's so interesting. Now, before I allow you go,
Okay.
the years gradually coming to an end.
Okay.
I know that, you know, it's a whole lot. People want to relax, they want to do a lot of things. Then how can different organizations then ensure that they motivate that? Because I mean, that staff have been working since the beginning of the year, and sometimes they are not even motivated. And some people just like, oh, this next year, I'm not seeing that my voice has not been heard and all that. So how can organizations or companies ensure that, yes, they motivate their employees as this year is coming to an end?
Okay, so first thing I will talk about is transparency. Number one, if there's no transparency in the business, you won't know how the business has fared from January till now. Secondly, is carrying them along. If you've not carried your employees are along from January till now, they will be too demanding. And now, so let's say, for example, there's no company that would definitely not do one or two things for their employees at this
But there are
time.
companies, I know no bonus is nothing. I mean, and I think maybe it's based on the contract that was actually, because another thing is the contract signed when you are giving an offer letter.
Well,
Understand?
that's that. But even at that, a little thing shows appreciation, like, okay, I'm getting this from my company, right? So, to me, I feel like there's no company that should not celebrate any of his worker, because I've worked for 1 year for you. I need something. But also, employees should also be grateful and have that gratitude heart to know, like, okay, this little I'm collecting from this company, at least they give. If they're not giving, there's nothing I can do to it. I can't say forcefully I need to go into the purse of the company to go and get it. And also, you should, so that's the part of the transparency, because when you are transparent to them, they know, like, oh, this is what is happening in the company, this is what has entered, this is what we've spent out. Even though you are giving them 5,000 naira, they'll be very appreciative. With everything this company has gone through at this period, they are still able to give us like 5,000 naira. They'll be able to, eager to do more to ensure, like, we need to ensure there's more money in the business. So as the year runs out too, the organization needs to know, like, these are our employees. This is the time whereby you can have high turnover rates, whereby people that works for me from January, they tell you they're not more working again, they're going to under business because they don't feel appreciated. I've worked with an organization that did not even pay salaries till the following year.
Wow.
And people are so disgruntled. I was like, I'm not coming again, I'm not resuming again, and all these things. So I feel like you should, even though if it's not much, we've all know the normal. If it's 5 kg of rice, okay, give one department, let them go and share the 5. If it's 1 derica, they still feel like we are still appreciated. If it's just like, okay, 2,000 on their salary, even though they are not giving anything, what you can also do is pay their salary fast. So it's not about even you giving, but the men feel like, okay, we don't have money to give, but your salary should not even wait till 26th or 25th or 31st. Give them their salary like on the 17th, on this, because they also needs to be met. So pay their salary, they feel like, oh, they understand, like, we also need money. Not like everybody is celebrating and I can't even eat chicken in my house. So it's just little things
that matter.
I was discussing with my barber recently. I think it was last week Saturday. I was like, guy, what are you giving us for Christmas? He said, oh, guy, I'm not yet there yet. I was like, it's not something big. If it's just a mug and have your name on it, people will appreciate.
It's even promotional, even what you've
exactly
done. Somebody can come to you and I'm like, oh,
do you get? So even though if it's a mug, even though it's just face cap, even though it's just towel, just do something. Let people feel like, oh, this guy recognized our presence coming here to come and cut our hair. Because I cut my hair 2,000 naira twice in a week. Twice in a month. That's 4,000 naira. And we have people that maybe every week they cut their hair, and they feel like from January to December you're not giving them. Yes,
they want to be appreciated.
They won't talk because they really do not need it. They don't care about it. But that little things
it shows that you
will show, like, exactly, like, oh, this person appreciates me. So that's just it. It's not about the big things that is the big picture. Just little things count. For people don't even see the big things. Like, they feel like, oh, yeah, over trying to win them. Just do the little things, and people, it's going to melt people's heart. Like, what? I'm the one that you're giving this. So all these things are just what company needs to do. You don't need to celebrate one big parties or buy one extravagant gift to give people. Just little things.
Wow, interesting.
And woman also, we also say, like, oh, after what I've done, this is what they are giving me.
Yes,
satisfaction.
Back to the woman. Anyway, it matters, and I just believe at the end of the day, both parties just have to know that while your organization is appreciating you as an employee, you also have to appreciate the organization for whatever thing they've chosen to give you,
out.
Give you rather.
Exactly.
Yeah, because like you said, just do it. Those little things are what matter at the end of the day. Because if they've decided not to give you, I mean, there probably might not be anything you do. You just like complain.
You just be disgruntled and
all that.
work still goes on.
But at the end of the day, as an organization, it's very important to know that you just have to appreciate your staff. Thank you so much for coming on the show today.
Thank you so much,
It
Iremo, for
has
having
been
me. Thank
an
you.
insightful moment.
Thank
and
you
I'm
so
quite
much.
sure everybody has learned one or two things. Personally, I've learned a whole lot.
Oh,
Because,
interesting.
yes, I've learned how to be a better employee to my organization, because it's a two-way thing. Like we
Yeah.
say in communication. Once they've communicated their values to you, it is left you to also, sit down on your own, think about those values, and think of how you can make it
contribute,
personal.
exactly.
And yes, contribute to the quota of the organization. Thank you once again.
Thank you
So
so
on
much.
the show today has been one amazing man, a human resource manager, Samson Adebayo. And that is all we can expound on Mind the Gap today. And for an organizational growth, the leaders must lead by example and ensure that clear communication, trust, and rewards are tools used to broaden relationships between brands and their employees. Please kindly follow us on all our social media platforms, Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube at ConsumerHallaTV. It is very important. Please, across all our social media platforms, do where to follow us. And also like, subscribe, get notified of all amazing and interesting educative content that we always churn out. Till I grace your screen next week, I am Iremofe Koforola. Bye for now.
Kí wá ní àjọ ń ṣe ni.
Kí wá ní ẹ̀ ń tà nínú ọjà?
Èmi ń ta ẹja, ìtakùté, táítọ́ọ̀sì, ọ̀wẹ̀rẹ̀, panla, mo dẹ̀ ń tepo, mo ń tòró, mo ń ta wholesale price, mo ń ta dúrọ́ọ̀mù, ògidì dẹ̀ ni mo ń tà. Àti láàárọ̀ mo ti ń gbé pomi wá, ògidì ni mo ń tà. So.
Okay. Dúrọ́ọ̀mù yín sìn fún epo àbóròró èlò ni?
Tá bá fẹ́ ẹ̀rọ ìsìn ó ń lọ sókè ó ń lọ sílẹ̀. A lè tí sọ pé nǹkan báyìí. Nísìnyí owó tí ń wálẹ̀ díẹ̀ díẹ̀ sí. Owó tí ń wálẹ̀ díẹ̀. Mọ̀ pé ọjà tó bá jẹ́jà tó ń gbé wá látòkè a máa lọ sókè a máa lọ sílẹ̀. Ilé àrùn náà lọ tí ń bèmí náà gbé epo wá torí mi kiri epo yíbò. Ògidì ni mo ń tà. So epo ní àsìkò ìlànà gbogbo àsìkò yìí a mọ̀ pé epo máa ń wọ́n. Torí ọyẹ́ ti máa dé. So ó ń lọ sókè ó ń lọ lẹ́nu.
Báwo ni o ṣe lè dá epo gidi yàtọ̀ sí èyí tí ò ń ṣe gidi?
Tí o bá fẹ́ mọ epo gidi, tí o bá fẹ́ mọ epo gidi, epo àfẹsẹ̀nu òníra lẹ́nu. Tó bá dẹ̀ fi sebẹ̀, ògiri ẹ̀ máa yọ gẹ́rẹ́gẹ́ ni, ọbẹ̀ yẹn máa yọ ni, ọbẹ̀ yẹn máa yọ. Ẹ fẹ́ kó 200 sí báyìí, ó máa yọ ó máa ṣe lólólóló. Ṣùgbọ́n epo tí ò dáa tẹ́ bá ti ṣí wò báyìí, òun ẹ̀ máa pò yín. Èjì ẹ̀ ni mo ṣe connect lọ sí Laro Sẹ́mẹ̀ kó máa bá mi gbé wá ní ọjà ọjọ́ márùn-ún.
Ọjà márùn-ún lẹ ti máa ń gbé láti Sẹ́mẹ̀. Báwo lẹ ṣe wá ń ṣe transport láti odidi bẹ́ẹ̀ débí báyìí?
Ọlọ́run ṣàánú mi. Èèyàn mi bí ẹni bí èèyàn ló connect mi mọ́ ọkùnrin nìkan Abdulaziz. Ó ń wa mọ́tò mi. So òun ló máa ń supply epo fún mi. Ó máa ń supply epo fún mi. So sister mi kan ló ń bá mi ránṣọ léjìgbò. Òun ló máa ń lọ ọjà Ìlàró rẹ̀. Òun ló wá connect mi mọ́ pé ọkùnrin yìí ó máa ń gbé epo káàkiri dé Èkó, dé Ìjọra, dé Mùṣín. Pé epo gidi ló máa ń tà. Wọ́n á ní bọ̀dà ẹ̀ka sàn ní ẹ̀jọ̀ báwo mo ṣe máa rí epo gidi tà torí pé òun ò ní tà. Ṣùgbọ́n wọ́n máa ní epo kan ò da ìkan dà. Ó wá lókè tá bá tẹ̀sí epo nù. Ọjọ́ yẹn náà lọ́hùn ó dẹ̀ kọ́kọ́ fún mi ní kẹ́ẹ̀gì 5 láì fún ní pọ́bọ̀ pé kí n lọ tà. Bó bá ṣe wá rí kí n kówó fún un. Ìgbà tí mo dẹ̀ rà tí mo rí pé táwọn èèyàn ń wá olóúnjẹ ń wá bá mi rà láti gbà yẹn ló máa ti máa ń gbé pé wá fún mi. Ọjà ọjọ́ 5 nínú ìrìnsìn ọjọ́ Jímọ̀ ló máa bọ́ sí. Àwa dé níjọ́ Sátọ̀dé. Ìgbà mi ò ń dé ìdajì, àmì ò ń dé láago 3 ọ̀nà. Tó bá dẹ̀ dé, ilé mi wà ní òpópónà Mọ́ṣáláṣí street ní Agẹdẹgúdù. Tó bá ti dé ọjà ìlú yìí jẹ́ ìlú tó dáa. Ìlú abínibí mi ni, ìlú bàbá tó bí mi lọ́mọ ni. So bẹ́ẹ̀ bá jáde lóru, kò sábúrú, kò sí nǹkan kan tó máa pàdé yín. Tẹ́ bá dẹ̀ wọnú ọjà, a ní ọlọ́dẹ lọ́jà. So tá bá ti pè wọ́n pé à ń bọ̀ wá já ọjà, lọ́dẹ máa dúró tì wá. A dẹ̀ já ọjà síbẹ̀, a dẹ̀ ti ṣọ́ọ̀bù wa, a lè fẹ́ gbé wa nílẹ̀. A dẹ̀ jọ ọjà mi fún mi, a pé pérépéré tí bá wọ̀n sórí mi, ike ó máa pé. So láti gbà yẹn mo ti ń bá ara ọjà, mo ti ń bá ara jà.
Ọjà epo ń sìn òróró 5 litre ń sìn èlò lòróró 5 litre?
11,000. Àwọn mi ń ta 12 ìrì àjẹpajúdé kò dáa fọmọlúwàbí. Ọlọ́run ló ń èèyàn ló ń pín iṣẹ́, Ọlọ́run ló ń pa àlùbáríkà. 11,000 èmi ń ta o. Lóòótọ́ ló ń lọ sókè lọlẹ̀. A ti ta 12,500, a ta 12,000, a ta 11,800. Ṣùgbọ́n lọ́wọ́lọ́wọ́ báyìí 11,000 ni. Kò ṣe pé náà máa retí wa. Obìnrin à ń retí wa. Epo náà dẹ̀ ní à ń ta 11,000, à ń ta 11,500. Bàbá ṣe rí aláṣìíra bá ṣe ń ta mọ́ra wọn ni. Nítorí pé ẹ lè fi epo tí ò dáa, àwọn mìíràn tẹ epo 12,000, 12,500. Ṣùgbọ́n lèmi ò mọ kankan síkùn. Lọ́rí mi tó bá ti rà nísìn epo mi pọ̀ jù báyìí lọ lánàá wọn wá kó tán ni. Ọjà mi ìsìnjọ́ Friday ló máa bọ́ sí. Mo ṣẹ̀ṣẹ̀ fẹ́ kán tún bá mi gbé mi wà ní. Mo bẹ epo tí mo ní lélẹ̀ àtẹyọ kan tó wà nínú ṣọ́ọ̀bù mi lọ́kàn yẹn. So ǹjẹ́ bí mo ṣe jẹ́ nì.
So bí yellow keg yìí ń ṣe máa ń ta bí yellow keg yẹn?
Ó ń ta
Èló lẹ̀ ń ta yellow keg?
Bá fẹ́ ta epo yellow keg yẹn, tí n bá fẹ́ dé àjà padà, ẹ bá dé dálé kọ́ mi náà 65 ló ń ta. Tí wọ́n bá ti gbé fáwọn ní 63, èmi lè ta 66. 63 ló máa gbé fún èmi. Èmi lè ta 63, 66, 65. Wọ́n á kọ́ fẹ́ kó mẹ́ta mẹ́rin márùn-ún. 2,000 náà máa ń 10,000. So wọ́n bá fẹ́ rà ní ta mọ́ra wọn.
Òróró wa ń kọ́.
Wọ́n bá fẹ́ rà òróró yellow keg ní ta mọ́ra wọn. Mo lè ta 65, mo lè ta 66, mo lè ta 64. Nítorí pé ó ń lọ sókè, ó ń lọlẹ̀. Tá bá dé bẹ́ẹ̀ nígbà àánú tí wọ́n á láti mówó sí i. So wọ́n dẹ̀ ń ta bọ́tù wa yìí náà. Bọ́tù yìí á ta 19, 2,000. Àṣẹ ń ta ní kéèsì dẹ̀ ní ra ní òkè ńlá Fox.
Mo rí pé kò ṣùgbọ́n pé ojú ẹ̀ mọ́lẹ̀ dáadáa.
So kéèsì ni mò ń rà ní tirẹ̀ lọ́dọ̀ ìyá mi kan, ìyá rúùtù yá dáadáa kan, ìyá rúùtù ní tirẹ̀ mò ń rà ń bẹ̀. Mò ń rà lọ́dọ̀ sísítà mi kan náà ní Celespes, sísítà Rónkẹ́ ní Celespes ní Kájọlá market. Mò ń rà lọ́wọ́ ọ̀gbọ́n. So mo rí pé ibi tó dáa ni. So mi ò rojú owó. Ibẹ̀ ni mo ti ń rà lọ́wọ́ wọn. Mi ò ń yà káàkiri lọ ra ọjà mi tí ò bá ti sí nìyẹn. Lọ́n tó bá lọ jà, àgbà máa wá lọ ra ọjà mi ọba tí owó mi bá ká. So pé máa rẹ ẹja, máa ra poté, máa ra gbogbo ẹ̀ mọ́ra wọn.
Epo wa.
Epo 2,000 ní bọ́tù ẹ̀.
Kí ni wá ní ìyàtọ̀ ẹ̀bà yìí sí ilé?
Ṣé rí ẹ̀bà ẹ bá wọn méjì ẹ̀ kò lè kún. A tún méjì báwọn méjì sí. Ó máa kú díẹ̀ kó tó bí sáìsì bí oní 300, 200 kó tó kún. Pẹ̀tẹ́lẹ̀ mi tó wá fẹ́ ra ilé méjì ó prefer kó ra ẹ̀bà yẹn. Èèyàn tó ẹ̀bà yẹn pè.
Èló wá ní ẹ̀bà yìí?
Ẹ̀bà yẹn náà mo ń ta 39, 4,000. Mi ò kí ń parọ́ ọjà ti tèmi. Iye tí mo ń ta ni mo sọ fún yín, àtàmọ́ ló dáa. Gbogbo alájọ wa Nàìjíríà mọ bí ìlú ṣe rí. Àjọ tà mọ́ra wọn. Bí bá ti gbé ìṣòro lé wọn bá owó tí máa fi jẹun pẹ̀lú àwọn ọmọ mi. Lọ́ọ̀ fà lùbáríkà sí.
Báwo lẹ ṣe máa ṣe calculation tí ẹ fi wá máa mọ̀ pé iye báyìí ló yẹ kí n ṣe?
Good evening and welcome to the news highlight on ConsumerHallaTV, the compilation of today's news bulletin. I am Iri Ayo Mikunle, Ege. We begin the news highlight from Ondo State, where John Vent Group has reaffirmed its commitment to deepen partnership investing in capacity and building industries that will accelerate Nigeria's economic transformation and boost Africa's global competitiveness. The resolve came as the Ondo State government restated its ambition to position the state as a competitive hub for agribusiness, manufacturing, technology, and energy. The Nigerian government on Monday endorsed the joint venture between Vestergaard Sao and Harvest Feed Industries Limited, marking the groundbreaking of a mosquito net manufacturing facility in Ogun State. The plant is the first of its kind in Nigeria and aims to strengthen the health security while reducing reliance on imported net. The federal government has begun the process of repaying the 4 trillion naira debt owed to power generation companies with the launch of a 590 billion naira first tranche bond issuance. Elsewhere, a renewed clash has emerged between the Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited and Periscope Consulting, the audit firm hired by the Nigeria Governors Forum to examine an alleged under-remittance of oil revenue totaling $42.37 billion to the Federation account between 2011 and 2017. And now the House of Representatives has summoned the Minister of Finance, Mr. Wale, and the Minister of Budget and National Planning, Mr. Atiku Bagudu, over poor budget implementation. The House yesterday held a closed-door session with Mr. Wale, Mr. Atiku Bagudu, the Accountant General of the Federation, Samsudeen Ogujimi, and the Executive Chairman of the Federal Inland Revenue Service, Mr. Zach Adidiji. And talking Labour now, where the Nigeria Labour Congress has announced plans for a nationwide protest on Thursday, December 17, 2025, to demand urgent government action on a series of pressing national crises, including escalating insecurity, the deteriorating tertiary education system, the ongoing health sector strike, and concerns over political interference in the Labour Party. The CBN hopes to lift agricultural lending above the current level of less than 5% of banks' credit, with Governor Olaye Cardoso declaring that agriculture must receive its rightful place in our financial system and national priorities. And now the NNPC upstream subsidiary NNPC Exploration and Production Limited has recorded its highest daily crude oil production in more than 3 decades, using 355,000 barrels per day on the 1st of December 2025. And now the Nigerian Civil Aviation Authority has refused to reopen the Ibadan airport despite pleas from the Federal Airport Authority of Nigeria calling for the reopening of the aerodrome, after confirming that by the level of work done at the airport, flight operations can commence. And now to end the news, the Lagos State Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu has inaugurated a 29,000 square meter TY Logistic Park FZE, a Grade A contract logistic facility, well described as the first of its kind in West Africa. To watch a rebroadcast on our YouTube channel, you can go to ConsumerHallaTV via the YouTube channel and watch our broadcast there and various programs. Follow us on all our social media platforms. Thank you so much for joining us. We'll start again tomorrow by the news at 8. I am Iri Ayo Mikunle, and it's always a pleasure having you right there. Stick to ConsumerHallaTV. Good night.